I've expressed my feelings about optimism and the messaging, and what is the role in your view of messaging, and what's CBIA's role in messaging, and what are your thoughts on how we should be messaging?
Yeah,
And now that you're on the way out, your thoughts, right? We don't need to balance other outside parties. What are your individual thoughts?
Yeah, this is honest. My thoughts are it's really hard. It's really hard, and there's no right or wrong, and you and I have talked at length about this, and one of the things I try to be is a good listener, and I have listened to you, and you're not the only one that's had your opinion, similar opinions. So we have really worked hard on our messaging. I think it's true what I've said to you in the past, that there's just a lot of policymakers in Connecticut that don't understand the economy. And they just think you have deep pockets and you can just throw more costs and mandates onto businesses all the time with no repercussions. So we have had to be tough in our rhetoric sometime and point out, look, if we were leading the country in job creation and economic growth, then yeah, maybe we can absorb some of those things. But numbers don't lie. And the numbers showed that we have lagged in economic growth and job creation. So be careful about what you're doing. And maybe sometimes we went a little too far in pointing out the negatives in order to make that point. And that's why, like I said, try to listen and hopefully we're trying different ways to get those messages across and accentuating some of the positive things, because we have so many positive things in Connecticut, but pointing out these things don't just happen by happenstance. And if we go too far, we're not going to have those good things. My predecessor, I remember him saying to me, we have a great quality of life here in Connecticut, but we're not going to be able to sustain it if we don't have economic growth. And that's just as true can be. So, messaging is always hard. Sometimes, I think I give my staff whiplash because one day I'll come in and say, we got to be more positive. And the next day I'll come in and say, well, this happened and we got to be tough, so, and part of that's listening too, because we have such a broad membership. I hear from all different parties. So yeah, I think finding that, sweet spot about how you can get your message across, but not be too negative or sound like you're oblivious to the problems and just be too much of a cheerleader. That's not our job. We're not hired to be cheerleaders. We're hired to be advocates for the private sector in Connecticut. And sometimes you got to be tough with your language in doing that.